Davis, broker and business coach. Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. Happy to be here. Thank you for coming in and checking us out. This is where we come together as an organization and we talk a little bit about what's going on, talk a little bit about who joined, about what production we did. We talk a little bit about who's our core ideology, all of that. And then we do go into some training. We talk a little bit about the business, some stuff that can help. So that's what this time is all about. Our agents know that when they come on to the Create Your New Life, they can stop, they can engage me, they can ask questions, they can do all of that. And we can take care of it because that's where the juice comes from. So welcome, welcome, welcome. If you're checking us out, this is your first time, maybe you're looking at us on our YouTube channel, maybe you are checking us out on, maybe somebody sent you the link or sent you an email, or you just sit back, you enjoy. If something speaks to you, something stands out for you, and you want to learn a little bit more, then you're going to see a link. You'll have that opportunity to do that. With that being said, I always start off by a couple of, well, I guess we call them house rules.
Is that all you
one
got?
of them is follow us on social media. Our YouTube channel, which I feel gives us the best exposure as it relates to who we are as a company, and great content. We usually post 2 to 3 videos a week on our YouTube channel, so if you subscribe, you'll be able to be notified when that content's coming out. Also, with our business Facebook page, we also post great content. We do our mastermind through tough times, our Facebook Lives from that page. So if you like that page, you'll be notified when we go live. You can get in on the fun. Also, I'm on LinkedIn, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, so you can do that. Again, I mentioned if you're checking this out and you may, something stands out to you, right? You're a realtor and you're just not you're not in an organization or a brokerage that really cares about you, and you feel that way, that's not good. That's not going to work. So click on the link. We have great programs that we offer. We have great resources and support that we bring. We're an empowering environment. Click on the link. You can learn more about that by going there and scheduling an online or in-person company introduction. Also, our agents get CE credit, right? They get an hour of CE credit if they just follow these few little steps, just 4 little steps. Student must be logged in at the time the session begins. Got to see your identification. We do all that before we begin the recording. The instructor has to be able to see the student's face the entire time, and the student must stay online. You do that, then you get that free money, baby. 1 hour continuing education credit. It cannot get no easier than that. Cannot get no easier than that. All right. So with that being said, we got a great session today. Our title is How to Get Reintroduced to Yourself. Allow me to reintroduce you to you. That's what we're going to talk about today, because we're going to continue to move up our iceberg, the psychological iceberg for success, and look at some of the mental and emotional things that get in our way as realtors. We're also going to talk about why it's important at Brooks & Davis to never stop learning, never stop improving, right? We're going to look at a resource that we have that our agent members will never be on their own as it relates to this real estate business. And we got a couple of great classes that are going to be coming up over this week. So we're very excited about that. Now, the quote for today has come from a Dr. Robert Biswas Diener. And his quote says, once you start making an effort to wake yourself up, that is, be more mindful in your activities, you suddenly start appreciating life a lot more. And Dr. Biswas Diener, he is a psychologist. He's known for his work on happiness. And that's why I thought, hey, look, everybody can be a little bit more happy. That's what we're chasing anyway. So I thought this quote right here really speaks to how we can get a more fulfilling life. And that's when you begin to become more aware of your activities, become more mindful of what you think, how you feel, the choices that you make, all of that. So it's like an awakening that happens. And then you'll be able to appreciate life more. So I thought it was a great quote, and I agree with Dr. Robert Biswas wholeheartedly. Yes, yes, yes. So that was the quote for today. All right. So, all right. So, yeah. So our session for today, we're going to be talking about how to get reintroduced to yourself on today's session of Create Your New Life with Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. All right. So, now, what we're going to be talking about today is also we're going to be talking about why it's important that Brooks & Davis never stops learning and improving. We're also going to look at a resource that allows our agent members to never be on their own in the real estate business. I think that's a great resource. And another great class that we're hosting, a couple of other great classes that we're going to be hosting here at the Coaching and Training Center. So the quote for this week is by Dr. Robert Biswas, and that is he is a psychologist that specializes in being happy. Everybody wants to be happy, and the quote that he gave us was that once you start making an effort to wake yourself up, that is, be more mindful in your activities, you suddenly start appreciating life a lot more. I'm going to say it again. This is what Dr. Biswas says. Once you start making an effort to wake yourself up, that is, being more mindful in your activities, you suddenly start appreciating life a lot more. And I agree with Dr. Robert Biswas, and this is definitely going to go into our conversation today, is that we have to become more clear on who we are as individuals. It's extremely important that, and once we wake ourselves up to who we are, you know, mentally, to who we are as far as what we're driven by, the human needs that we're looking to satisfy, you know, who we are as it relates to our emotions and where we typically go emotionally on a consistent basis, our belief system. You know, once we become clear on who we are and we become comfortable in our own skin, that's when we'll really begin appreciating life a whole lot more. So kudos to Dr. Biswas for making us aware of that, because the reality is that, and I say this all the time, at the end of the day, we're all chasing happiness. That's what we're doing. We get up out of our bed, we go to work, we work our jobs, we get in relationships, we make decisions, we make choices, and all of that is because at the end of the day, we want to be happy. You know, it was at the origins of our country when Thomas Jefferson penned those inalienable rights in the Declaration of Independence, the pursuit of happiness, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. And from this moment forward, that is what we're pursuing, chasing it down. So appreciate you, Dr. Wasman. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump into our moment of core. So again, if you haven't been with us, you know, this is one of our running segments where we're taking out an opportunity to look into our core ideology as a company, which is made up of three parts. Our core goal, our core mission, and our 5 core values. And the core value that we want to highlight today is our value of continually learning, improving, and operating in the most productive manner. So here at Brooks & Davis, we all, as we're looking to grow, right, we got big, massive goals that we're trying to achieve. And for us to get there, it always has to be on a trajectory of growth, right? We got to be driven. We got to be pulled and attracted by the magnet of growth and continue. And the way that you grow is that, number one, you always learn. You got to be open to learning. You can't feel like you know it all. Right? No matter how long anybody's ever doing anything, you're gonna need to learn more. Like, I've been in real estate 16 years, and I don't even think I've scratched the surface. I've been a business owner for 16 years. I don't think I've even scratched the surface as it relates to me learning. Right? On my way up here, I was listening to Reed Hastings, the co-founder of Netflix, talk about his culture as it related to Netflix, looking for nuggets that I could pull, that I could apply, that I could learn from. You got to walk into it with that mind frame. And as it relates to Brooks and Davis and those, our agent members, our affiliate members, we encourage you to have that mindset and be open to continually learning, looking for a way to always improve, and looking for a way to make sure that as you operate your business, as you operate your life, that you're doing it in the most productive manner. So that's the value that we wanted to highlight here today in our moment of core. All right, so want to give a couple of shout outs. Let's see, she was on here earlier. I think she didn't got off. So Taisha Glenn, one of our newest affiliate members, she was on with us earlier. Wanted to give her a shout out for coming in, welcoming her on in her process. She's passed all her classes. All she needs to do is take the test, knock that test out, and then boom, she'll be ready to go. So definitely want to welcome Taisha to the family. We're constantly growing. We're getting bigger. People are coming in. Exciting times at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. So definitely want to welcome her in. Also, what we do is we take a look to see what kind of production is going on, see who's on the board, see who's sitting at the top of the mountain. So let's check that out. And also remember, guys, you know, I do it on Create Your New Life, but we're also posted in the group meet. So you can't hide. If you're not on the board, everybody sees it. So you got to get on the board. All right, so this is what we got going on. Definitely want to congratulate our top three. Kendra Reedon still holding that #1 spot. Margaret Harrison and jumped up into the top 3. And we're seeing a familiar name again, LaKendra Kaufman, back in that top 3. So definitely want to congratulate those ladies for the production that they're doing. We got some new production from Margaret. Shout out Margaret. New production from LaKendra. We got Val on the call. Val got some new production. What up, Val? Shay, Laquana, my favorite agent, Laquana Davis. Got a couple of them on the board as well. So congratulations, lady. Keep cranking it out. We're over that $8 million mark, and that's something to say in the culture of Corona. Again, we're continuing our trend of pushing out close to $1 million worth of production every 7 days, and that is something that is phenomenal. And I applaud you all, everyone that is doing it and production, putting yourselves in a situation to where you can get paid, get a piece of that $243,000 commission that's in the bucket. And if your name is not on the list, if you have not made the digital pending board, you need to make sure you stay committed to the coaching, because I promise you, the coaching works. And as we do our coaching sessions and we work through some of these layers, some of these things we're going to talk about today, work through some of the mechanical areas and the technical areas of real estate, and really get you on that track. Look, it's easy. I was talking to one of our agent members yesterday, and she's like, look, I just want to be able to get one person under contract before the end of the year. I'm like, the end of the year? Girl, stop. I said, before the end of the month, you'll probably have 2. As long as, again, you stay committed to the coaching and you do the thing that we tell you to do. You want, by the end of the month, I'll be surprised if you had less than 1 or 2 people under contract. So it's not that hard, people. What you got to do is you just got to stay focused. You got to trust the process. It's a process. You got to trust it, and you will get there. I promise you, you will. All right. Let's see. All right, so let's go ahead and jump into proprietary programming. That's the next thing. That's something else that's a standard with our Create Your New Life, where we like to showcase the different programming that we have that our agents have access to. And I constantly want to remind our agents, as you all know, we've sent out a survey. We're doing another survey. The last survey we did was about 2, maybe 3 years ago, to get an idea of if our programming was working, like if our agents were using it. We have a couple of new things that we're looking to bring down the pipeline as well. So we want to see, we always want to be turning it over, right? Because if there's something on here and you guys aren't using it, or y'all not seeing the benefit or the value from it, it's just not effective, hey, we want to get rid of it, right? And we want to leave room, make room for other things that we can try. So being innovative is extremely important to us, and we're going to continue to do it. So with that being said, want to remind you all of our hotline number, right? We, as an organization, we want to position ourselves to where an agent would never feel like they were by themselves, never feel like they were on their own. And by us doing that, you know, and you know, realistically, who's been the hotline? Michael G. Davis, right? If y'all got questions, y'all got problems, y'all hit me up. I answer the phone, or I call you back, or you shoot me text messages, I text you back, and we get that thing done. We get it taken care of. But guess what? For the vision that I have for Brooks and Davis, at some point, we're going to need more than one Michael G. Davis. So that's why we put in place this hotline now. So as we grow, we'll always have an experienced realtor or broker, a leader of our organization, to be able to man that phone and answer whatever questions an agent may have in the field, so they'll never be by themselves. So that's our hotline number. As of right now, it operates between the hours of 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. How many of y'all knew we had a hotline number? Let me know in the chat, or give me a thumbs up. I can see y'all. How many of y'all knew that we had a hotline number? I bet y'all didn't even know. Y'all out here just drowning when y'all got a lifeline. So save the number in your phone, and that goes to our affiliates as well. Our affiliate members, call the hotline if you got questions. If you got challenges with, or if you just need some inspiration, if you're feeling down and you need somebody to tell you, you got this, you can do it, call the hotline. That's all I'm saying. The hotline is there for you. Look at Valerie crying. So, Ellen, now you know, Ellen. Now you know there's a hotline for you. Hotline magic. All right, so y'all can see that I'm extremely excited about the stuff that we have at Brooks and Davis Real Estate Firm. So if you didn't know, now you know, we have a hotline. You got a hotline. All right, so let's see what's coming up. Got some great events coming up, coming down the pipeline. Let's see. Let me share my screen. So, you know, again, through our partnership with Action Jackson Gun Training, on the weekends, he hosts his gun class, so we have another one coming up. This Saturday, time is at 9 a.m. If you are interested, you can either email him directly to get on there. Costs $165. That includes your range fees, your ammo, and your weapon. So if you want to get your concealed handgun license, we have those classes here. So you can either email him or you can let me know, and I can get you connected with Mr. Jermaine Jackson, who is the host and teacher or facilitator for that class. He is a peace officer, has been there for years. He's now in the A-Leaf School District. I believe he's a sergeant in the A-Leaf School District. So I said all that to say he knows what to do as it relates to a gun and the laws and things like that. So if you're interested, that's how you get to that. Now also we have an upcoming career night that's going to be hosted, and I see that she's on the call, so I am going to allow her an opportunity. I did not tell her I was going to do this, so it is completely on the fly, but I know she can pull it off for me. Ms. Lisa Vaughn, who is the head of our recruiting and mentorship, who I have now unmuted, completely shocked, has not told her I was doing this. But Lisa, I want you to introduce yourself and talk to the people and tell them about the upcoming career day. Uh-oh, we can't hear you, Lisa. Hold on. Let's see, I can't hear. Take your headphones out. Take your headphones out. I know that's what it is. Because you're muted now. Let me unmute you. Hold on, you're still muted. All right, say something. Nope, still can't hear you. Still can't hear you. All right, well look, we're gonna get that figured out. But look, y'all can see her. No, you muted. You muted. At least y'all can see her face. So look, I can say what she was about to say. She was about to say, I'm Lisa Vaughn, and I'm so excited to be here with Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm, and I want to tell all of y'all about our upcoming events. We are looking to grow our organization. We are looking to go to 100 agents, and it's my job, along with Mr. Larry W. Brooks, to pull that off, as well as with all of you all's help. Y'all can help us achieve our goal before the end of the year, bringing in another 50 agent members, great agent, talented agents, members into our organization. And beginning on Thursday, we're going to be having our career night, probably hosting those on a bi-weekly basis. Let me show my fly again. Hosting those on a bi-weekly basis. So if you have anybody that you have in your radar that you've been talking to and you're like, girl, they've been complaining. They've been like, man, my broker don't do nothing. They don't answer the phone. They ain't got no classes. We got all these fees. And y'all been talking to them and y'all like, man, you might need to talk to my broker. I'm like, I know, girl, I'm going to call them, or I ain't had a chance to, or whatever excuse they give you. Now what you can tell them is, look, on Thursday, just come by the coaching and training center. Or between 4 and 7, you get to meet one of the co-founders of the company and ask any questions, get all the insight, learn about all the opportunities that we have. So now you all are going to have another weapon in your arsenal to inspire these people to change their situation. Come on over to a new brokerage firm. So you have that. And guess what? Realtor Recruitment Rally is in effect. It is an opportunity for you to make money every time your recruit closes a transaction. And it don't matter what kind of transaction. It could be a lease, it could be an apartment, it could be a buy, it could be a sale, it could be whatever. You get paid when they close. So let's go out there, man. Let's work together. It's all of us. It's going to take all of us to hit the goals that we want to hit, to achieve what we want to achieve at Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. So definitely want to say thank you to Lisa for her work. She's hit the ground running. So I want to definitely publicly say thank you and welcome. And I'm excited about the ideas and the trajectory that we're moving as it relates to this thing. And if anybody is interested, like Lisa had a heart for recruiting. She has a heart for when she identifies a good thing, she wants to tell people about it. If you all feel the same way, right? And it is an opportunity to generate an income outside of you doing real estate, right? The opportunity is there. If anybody's interested, please let me know so we can put you in contact and put you on the recruiting and mentorship team, right? That's our new team being headed up by Ms. Lisa Vaughn, who's the leader responsible for that part. So thank you, everybody. All right, Lisa, I did a good job. Give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up if I pulled it out. Boom. There we go. There we go. All right. All right. So let's see. Where am I? Boom. There we go. All right. So it looks like now to the fun stuff, right? Now we get to jump into our time of training for today. And what we're going to be speaking on is right back into our psychological series, right? Understanding and agreeing with the fact that this real estate thing, this entrepreneurship thing, right? We'll call it that. Because the reality is, once you become a realtor, you go from being like a 9-to-5 employee to being an entrepreneur. And that requires two different sets of mentality. That requires two different sets of emotions, right? And a lot of times as brokers, we don't do a good job of helping realtors make that transition. So that's what this series is all about. And you know, our symbol for our series, the model that we came up with to kind of describe that transition and the areas that need to be dealt with, is our psychological iceberg for success. And looking at the model, the reason we use an iceberg is because it's the stuff that people can't see, like making a decision, which is what we talked about last week in episode 149, you know, making a decision to start. And typically, most people think that decision happens once you pass your license, or once you take that first class, or once you decide that you're interested in getting into real estate. Most people feel like that's when a person has made the choice that they're going to begin. When in reality, that's not when that choice is made. That choice is made after the real estate has punched you in the mouth, after you done got knocked down, after you done had deals fall out, or people are rejection, people say no, and all this other stuff. Going through that, and then still saying, you know what, I'm not going to give up, I'm going to keep pushing forward. That's when you make the choice, right? And there's a lot of people that are saying, you know what, I'm out of here. Let me go ahead and get back to this good old 9 to 5. They begin to appreciate their bosses more once they get this good real estate to go. So that's not when that decision happens. But now what we're going to look at today is we're going to kind of move up that next level and look at the areas of who are you, right? So now here, the reality is that a lot of us are in our own way. A lot of us are, and when I say we're on our own way, we haven't taken the time to really become comfortable in our own skin. We haven't taken the time. We try to, you know, when we'll look at other realtors and we'll look at other character traits that they have and the things that they say, and we begin to measure ourselves against those people. We begin to try to execute things the way that they execute things, and guess what? We don't get the results that they get. And why don't we get the results that they get? Because you're not them, right? You can't put on somebody else's coat and feel like it's gonna fit. You got to go get your own coat, and you got to take the coat and you got to tailor it, right? Well, guess what? It ain't nothing that you can. There's nothing for you to make custom if you don't take nothing to the table. And most of us don't take an opportunity to look on the inside to see who we really are. And I think a lot of it has to do is because we don't really know how to, right? We've heard of DISC assessments or personality profiles. We've heard of that stuff, personality assessment. What we think is that those are the type of tests that people take when they're applying for high-level positions, right? Or leadership roles, because they want to understand where you fit. They want to understand if you're the right fit for the spot that they're opening or the position that they're opening for you. Are you the type of personality that will be able to be successful in that role? And guess what? Look, we all have all of the personality types in us. So it's not a matter of if you're the right personality fit or type or any of that other stuff. It's about what's the mix that you naturally move towards as it relates to personality. Right? So now, if you're not familiar with this episode is not about going through the DISC personality profile. As you all know, that is an element of your coaching session. So if you have not done your coaching, right, then that means you have not done a DISC personality profile. You have not done the DISC assessment, which means you probably don't have a clue of what I'm talking about. And my answer to that is schedule your coaching session. Let's get it going, right? Because the reality is that becoming crystal clear, and I'll just kind of speak from my experience with it, right? When I did the DISC personality profile, and I want to just kind of give you guys, just show you what that looks like, just a little glimpse of what that looks like. So when I did my DISC personality profile, and this is not mine, this is nowhere close to mine, I was a high D. And what does D stand for, Michael? I'm glad you asked what D stands for. D stands for dominance, right? That's your A type. That's your CEO. That's your driver. That's the, man, we got to get these results no matter what. By any means necessary. We got to send the bull through the china shop and break up all the dishes to get to the other side, and that's what we doing. That was my personality profile. And not only was it my natural state being really high, really extreme in that one area of the personality, I also felt like it was required for me to have the level of success that I want. So not only would I start as a high D, I would enhance it when I was going after something I really wanted. So extreme high D. But here's the crazy thing. You'll see that in many cases, you'll see some people, like on this particular graph, this person's an extreme high I. Extreme high I, right? Naturally, right? That's what and I is like influencer, inspirer. That's the person that wants to be in the limelight. Look at me. I'll do it, right? The D is, look at my results. The I is, look at me. Look at me getting it in. So you got some people that are high I. We have people that are part of Brooks and Davis that they high everything. We got some people high Ds like me. We got some people that was high Is like, I ain't gonna say no names, or high S's, or high C's. We got a complete mix. Ever since I started doing these personality profiles, I start kind of understanding y'all and why y'all do what you do and why you say what you say. And because of that, it allowed me to be a better leader. Not to dictate what's a good role for you or what's a good business for you or no. It's just so I can have a better understanding so I can be a better coach for you, right? So, and as we go through this process and as I talk about my experience, although I was a high D, being that and staying solely committed to just that one part of my personality got in the way in other circumstances where the D was not the best person to let dry the boat, right? So, and I'll give you an example. For a person that is looking to recruit a realtor, right? That is looking to inspire or encourage someone about the benefits that their brokerage firm offers, the person to take into the room to have that conversation is not the high D. And why should the high D not go in that room? Because the high D is all about results. Look, you gonna join, you're not gonna join. The high D is gonna focus about all the programs that we offer, give you all the good stuff to where it's a no-brainer for you to join. It's all logic when the high D goes into the room. So guess who Michael G. Davis used to bring into the room when we was having those meetings? His D. Because what they say, to a hammer, everything look like a nail. To a D, everything look like a result. So until my coach pulled me to the side when I was fussing and whining that people wouldn't join the firm and I couldn't understand why. I know we had all these great programs we was offering, and everybody that I met with would always say, man, you sure do, y'all offer a lot, y'all got a lot of programs. They would always say that, but they would not join. They go somewhere else. What was the problem? What was the problem? It's because the D was the wrong person to go in there. Now here's the crazy thing. Although I was a high D, my second highest characteristic trait is an I. Who knew? I never tapped into it. It was all about the D. So I was naturally comfortable. I'll use that word. I was naturally comfortable utilizing my I. So just one tweak of understanding as it related to me made the difference. So now when I'm having conversations, I'm face to face, yeah, although we have all these great programs, none of that matters if I'm not able to show an individual empathy or care or discovery, curiosity, right? I would not go into those meetings trying to discover anything about the person that I was interested in bringing into my firm. And they knew that. So what happens then is if all I'm doing is talking about Brooks and Davis and the great things that we have and the great programs that we have, that doesn't inspire anybody to want to be a part, right? I'm not even drawing the person in. Well, the only way that I would even see that element or that gap was by asking the question, who am I? Really sitting and diving into it to get an understanding of it. So the personality assessment is key, right? So I told you what the D meant. I told you what the I meant. The S means support, right? And C stands for conscientious or cautious. The S is look at who I'm helping, right? Look at how I can assist, because the support is there to help push and help move somebody else forward, right? There are some people that say that the S trait is the only one that doesn't have its own personal agenda, right? What they want to do is they want to assist someone else in their goals and in their dreams, and they're sincere about it. I mean, they sincerely want to help do it. And here's the crazy thing: until I became aware of all of this, my D is like, no way. There's nobody out there that's just doing stuff because that they don't want to get nothing out of it, that they don't have no personal agenda. Are you playing? Are you crazy? No, they just ain't said what it is yet. Now I gotta be skeptical. I gotta, feed them with a long-handled spoon, right? But that's not the case. Some people are just wired that way to where it is ultimately they just want to help somebody. And once I released that judgment on those kind of people, man, those are the greatest people ever. I used to see them as victims, like letting people beat up on them, and me, I'm like, man, you gotta say no. Don't help that person, and don't do none of that. When the reality is that's just in their DNA, and they get fulfillment out of that, right? It fills them up, it juices them, it energizes them. Got to be comfortable with that. So that's the S. And then the C, that's the person that has results. Man, just stop trying to handle the SP. I know, man, I was handling everybody. I was handling the I's, the S's, the C. If you wasn't no D, I couldn't fool with you. But I'm doing better, Valerie. I'm doing better. But the C is the person that I'm going to say critical, right? And I'm going to say from a standpoint of they're the ones that are making sure all the I's are dotted. They're making sure all the T's are crossed, right? They're the policies person. They're the person that's got to have processes in place. Things need to be routine. We got to fly the ship straight. It got to be smooth sailing, right? That's the C person, right? So, and I had there's some C in me as well. Some good C in me. Well, what I had to learn and what I encourage all of you all to learn, especially as it relates to leadership, is understanding these personality styles and traits, because once you understand them, you'll begin to appreciate them. And once you can appreciate the type of personality styles that people bring to the table, you will begin to enjoy this business a lot more. And guess what? Now, I use this a lot as it relates to realtors and recruiting and bringing on new agent members and affiliate members and things like that. But when you bring on new clients, customers, when you're engaging with people, as you become very versed on the different styles and kind of what they mean, their goals, their fears, kind of things that drive them, as you become really versed in those areas, then you'll begin to identify or recognize certain patterns. You'll begin to recognize certain patterns in people. And then when you begin to recognize those certain patterns in those people, when you're looking to influence them in a particular direction, Tony Robbins says the easiest way to influence somebody is to find out what already influences them and then use that as leverage to get them to move in the direction you want them to go. Well, personality, and another thing that we're going to talk about here before we wrap up, those are the things. Being able to identify those things in people will greatly enhance your chance of getting people and influencing people to move in the direction that you want them to move in. Right? I promise you it will. So one of the elements that we utilize to answer that question of who are you is the DISC personality profile. So again, as a part of the coaching, we all take this assessment. Yeah, I go through it with you all so you can understand the different elements of it. And I encourage you to take it seriously because it is a tool that you can really use, not just for yourself and for you to become comfortable in your own skin, because that's another thing that happened to me. Once I saw my report, I read through it, and I recognized myself in the report, what it did was it allowed me to take a deep breath of relief and say, you know what? That's just who I am. That's who the kid is. And not be so hard on yourself. Be easy on yourself, man. Like yourself. Love yourself. Laugh at yourself. It's okay. Because you are a unique being. You are special. You was created that way. And all I'm here to do is to show you how to leverage it to get the results that you want. Not the results that your mama want, or your cousin, or your spouse, or anybody else want. The results that you want. And guess what? The results that you want, you have everything that you need on the inside of you in your makeup, how you was created to be able to achieve it. You just need somebody to help guide you there. And that's the beauty of a coach. So, and that's what it did for me. Once I came to that realization, that aha, and I introduced myself to myself again. All right. So now, another thing that we utilize as it relates to getting a deeper or a clearer understanding of who you are as an individual is our model of the world questionnaire. Right? And the idea of the model of the world questionnaire is to identify these three forces of destiny, right? And so think of your model of the world as the blueprint that controls your experience of life. It is how the lenses that you view the world in is what model of the world is like. So the model of the world is made up of these three forces, called them forces of destiny. And these three forces, they encompass your personal psychology and philosophy of life, right? That's what these three forces do. And it didn't happen overnight, right? We're talking about years of experiences, years of engagements, external situations have kind of formed how you see things, whether right or wrong, right? Because it's not about right or wrong. It's the same thing as it came to the personality profiles. I meant to say this. No personality style is better than any of the others. They're all on the same level. The reality is that some are better in certain circumstances than others. So that's why we use it as a tool, so you can understand which ones are you more comfortable with, which ones are you not as comfortable with, but you'll know how to access when you need to get the particular results you want in the circumstance. So truly, we want to turn your personality into a weapon so you can use it to get the kind of results that you want. But just with that being said, same thing with your worldview. It's not about right or wrong. It's about it's yours, right? And then now understanding that this is your worldview and this is how you see things, well, when you're going after certain results or certain goals, there are some things that will hinder you because of one of these three forces, right? And you just got to be aware of it. You got to see it coming so you can put parameters around it so you don't let it impact you. Same thing with the personality. You got to know what it is. You got to know what your natural inclination is. So when you are going for something or you're in a particular situation, you don't want, like me, to be in your own way as it related to when I was going and doing these recruitment meetings to bring in new agents. You don't want to be in your own way. So most of the time it's just a small, minor adjustment. All right, so the first force is the driving force, right, which is probably where I'm going to spend most of our time talking about these three forces. And again, we use a series of questions to do our best to try to identify what this looks like in you. Your driving force, which deals with your 6 human needs. And they call it the driving force because that's the target that you're really after, right? Your 6 human needs are the things that on a daily basis, on your decisions, your choices, the moves that you make, you're looking to satisfy these needs, right? And again, this is information or philosophies or techniques. This isn't stuff that I came up with. This is from the school of Tony Robbins that I bought into, and it just made 100% sense to me as I was hearing this stuff, right? So as you can see it's a target, right? And in the center of that target is contribution, right? Contribution, and that's the place, the inner 2 needs are the place that you ultimately want to mature to, right? Now, again, just like with the personality types, we have all 6 of them. We look, as human beings, we look to satisfy all 6 of these needs in certain circumstances. We do. But some are of a higher level need, and the reason we say they're a higher level need is because they're more impactful. When you satisfy that need, it impacts more than just you, right? And that one in the center is contribution. And we all want to mature and develop to a point to where we're coming from a place of contribution. We're looking to fulfill a need to contribute through what we do and how we live and the decisions that we make. So that's the one in the center of the circle. The one in the second ring is growth, right? You want to get to a place, and again, these are the 2 higher level needs, the 2 more spiritual needs. You want to get to a place to where you're driven every day. The force that moves you is to grow, and the reason that you want to grow, you want to enhance is, and whether that's enhanced materially, through your understanding, emotionally, in whatever area. You want to enhance, you want to grow because you want to get to a point to where you can contribute to more people, right? The greater, the larger, the higher that we are, the more advanced that we are, the more people we can impact if we're coming from the right place, right? So those are the 2 higher level needs. Now the next 4, which are on the outer rings, we call these the primal needs, right? So these are the more lower level needs. These are the needs that until you come into a level of awareness, like what I'm doing right now, what we kind of do through our process of My Little World, these other 4 needs are the ones that are really driving you. Like I would say 2 of them, most importantly, you value kind of the most, and you'll be able to see it when I start talking through some of them, right? So the next one after growth is love and connection, right? A lot of us, that's where you kind of see people stay in toxic relationships longer than they need to. It's because that need to be connected to something or someone or some group, that need is stronger than the toxicity of what or who they're connected to. So that's why they stay in it, right? That's why people stay there longer. That need to satisfy and fulfill that need for love and connection. And then sometimes they'll go from one bad relationship to the next, to the next, to the next. And it's all because they have a strong need for love and connection, and they haven't identified a healthy way to satisfy it, right? The next one after love and connection is significance, right? That's a big one as well that gets a lot of people. And that's that need to feel needed, wanted, to feel important, right? To feel above everybody else. And that's a lot of where a lot of puff and smoke, you know, you heard the term big hat, no cows, right? If you ain't from Texas, you might not have heard that term. But what that mean is you got the guy that ain't got no cattle. You know, cattle is where you met, the one had all the cows and the cattle had all the money. But you ain't got no cows, no cattle, you ain't got no money, but you were always walking around looking with the big old hat as if you got the money, right? That's where you see those people that they're kind of hollow. They ain't really bringing no substance to the table, but they always talking. They the loudest voice in the room, but there ain't nothing coming out of it, right? They ain't showing up. They ain't showing nothing. They just talking. High level, surface level, right? But that's because they need to satisfy that need to feel important, to feel needed, to feel wanted. On the other side of that spectrum, you got like, you know, this is the only illustration I could think of at the moment. You know, like the sugar daddy, the sugar mama, right? You ain't really trying to be in no relationship with you, but just gonna pay. spend all the money, throw all the gifts, do all that other stuff, so they can feel needed or feel connected. We can even say love and connection to that individual when there's really no substance under the relationship. So that need for significance is a big one as well, right? After significance is the need for uncertainty or the need for variety. That's the person that gets bored, man, get bored in routine. You know, those kind of people, man, you see them go from job to job, right? They can't keep a job. Find some reason that something happened. Either they quit or they get fired or something happened, right? No level of longevity, right? And it's because they get bored, or they go from different relationships. They get bored with the boyfriend or the girlfriend or the husband and the wife, right? Step out on their marriage because they got bored with the monotony of it all. These kind of people like to travel a lot, like to see the world, like they tend to move a lot, right? Because there's that need for new stimuli. There's that need for variety, right? So that's that need for uncertainty, stimulus, surprise. And then the top one is certainty, right? The need to know what's coming next, right? Because keep in mind, we call these the most primal needs. When we was all, cave people roaming around in the jungle, well, a surprise could kill you. Because you walk around that tree and surprise, he goes saber-tooth tie and you dead. So surprises wasn't good. So our brain, the most primal part of our brain, developed elements of protection so you wouldn't die. Unfortunately, those dangers no longer exist. And now the primal brain don't know no better, so that's why we have to come from the more sophisticated parts of our brain, but it don't feel natural sometimes, right? And that's because some people are driven by this need to know, the need for security, whether that's knowing where the money's coming from, knowing where the next deal's coming from, knowing, that they're healthy and that they're safe. That's that need for certainty. And when I first heard the conversation as it related to these 6 needs, boom, right off the top, I knew which ones were mine. I was guilty of. My flavor of the month was certainty and significance. And it was killing me, right? Because especially certainty, man, it stumps your creativity, right? That fear, right? That fear begins to come in, and that fear of uncertainty gets to creep in, and you begin not to take chances. You don't take the necessary risks. You don't go to the game, or you don't show up the way you need to show up, is what happens. Same thing with significance. That fear to be insignificant, that fear to be ignored, or to feel not connected or important. Man, it was destroying my relationships, that need for significance. And so I had to come to a level of awareness around them. So now once you become aware, does that mean that they go away? No, absolutely not. They don't go away at all. Once you become aware of them, you can manage it better. So then you get in management mode. Because my need, I had to name mine. I call it Money Mike. Money Mike is all about so anxious, so much anxiety around spending money and losing money, not making money, fulfilling that need for certainty. And man, that boy get to showing up, and I'm like, you cannot show up right now because we need to make this investment, and it's key, a key investment. So you got to get to that level of awareness so you can manage things better. That's what all of this is about, and becoming more aware of what drives you. And the same thing again, being able to use it to identify in other people kind of what needs that they're trying to fulfill through some of the choices that they make, through some of the decisions that they make, right? It's going to make you better as a salesperson, as a professional, in helping people, guiding people through this crazy real estate process, which is what it is. So not only will it help yourself, you'll become versed. As you become versed in these things, you'll be able to give a greater service to others that hire you. All right, the last 2 forces, and I may spend a little bit of time on next week on these bottom 2 before we go into the 3rd element of Iceberg. But real quick, force number 2 really speaks to our belief systems. And we have multiple belief systems. We have global belief systems. The way that we see, they're like extreme generalities, right? You know, something like, you know, all men are dogs, right? That's a very strong generality, right? All used car salesmen are crooks, right? That's a very wide generality, but it came from somewhere, right? It came from an experience. It came from some circumstance that you went through, and you kind of want to see, like, where did that come from? Like, what, you know, why do I see things that way? You know, some people feel like, you know, there's no point in getting married because no marriages ever work out, right? All men cheat, right? I mean, we have these things, right? And that we've grasped to, and that we believe in these things, and guess what? They dictate the results that we get. They impact, they affect things. I promise you. And then we also have identity beliefs, you know, how we see ourselves, how we see life, right? How we see death, how we see our purpose. We have beliefs around that. We have beliefs as it relates to our values and our value system, what we, you know, our deepest desires, right? The things that our greatest fears. And then we have rules, you know, regulations that we abide by. And guess what? Here's the thing about rules. When we make something a rule for us, it automatically becomes a rule for somebody else in our mind. And we try to hold people accountable to our rules. How crazy is that? You know why? Because we crazy. We are crazy. But we tend to do that. Well, guess what? That means you need to know what your rules are. And you need to know the kind of pressure that you're putting on other people, that you're projecting on other people. Because I promise you, rules destroy relationships too. They was killing mine. I promise you it was. And then we have vehicles, things that we use to satisfy these 6 human needs. There's certain vehicles. Remember, I made the illustration of that's why some people stay in toxic relationships longer than they should. The reason being is because they're using that relationship, whether healthy or unhealthy, they're using it as a vehicle to satisfy that need for love and connection. So that's what vehicles are. You know, some people use drugs, some people use alcohol, some people use a number of vices to satisfy needs, a particular need that's not being fulfilled, and they just haven't found a more healthier way to fulfill that need. And then the last force is, we call it the fuel of choice. It's kind of like, it's the emotional patterns that we tend to go to on a regular basis, whether that's sadness, despair, anxiety, which was mine, worry, and anticipation, right? And guess what? They can be positive or negative. Like for me, anticipation / worry, what does that look like? I tell people all the time, the best day when I'm about to go on a trip, the day that I'm the most juiced and excited is the day before we go. Because, man, I ain't got so much anticipation built up, so excited about it. Man, I'm on cloud 9. I'm feeling the best. I'm in the best mood. Anticipation. The reverse side of that is where money might come in. So when it comes to spending money, oh, man, I'm so worried about it. Worry, anxiety. Like that was an emotional place that I went to on a consistent basis. So that third force, the fuel of choice, is all about identifying emotionally where is it that you go, and then identifying what is the things that are triggering you to go to your emotional place, your emotional home. Right? So that's where this whole My Little World, dealing with the belief system, identifying the human needs, identifying the emotional home that you dwell in, identifying your mix or what you're comfortable with as it relates to the personality style. As we spend time fleshing through all of that, you're going to come into a clearer view of who you are as a person. And that's ultimately what's it about, and that's important as you begin to build the kind of real estate business that you want to build. Right? There is no size fits all. And the reason there is no size fits all is because of what I'm talking about today. It's because we're all individuals. We're all different. We're so unique. And because of that, there cannot be a one-size-fits-all as it relates to approaching this business. And there are a number of brokerage firms and companies, that's what they offer. They give you a plan. They say, if you do this, you'll be successful. But the reality is that's not true. That's only a certain group of people are going to be successful doing it that way. But even if it is 25%, that means what do we do with the other 75% of the people? They ain't got no hope, or they just not cut out. They need to go get another job. They need to go find another career, another line of work, which is what is happening for most people. That's the thought or the mindset that most people that are walking away from real estate, that's why. Is because they ran into one of these one-size-fits-all models. They got caught up in that when in reality, it is no one-size-fits-all, right? And we got to identify what's that fit, that custom fit that's going to work perfect for you. And everybody has one, I promise you. It's just going to take some work to get to the bottom of it. So, with that being said, that's all I got for y'all today. Anybody got any questions, comments, or anything before I shut it down? Anybody want to, what do y'all think? Like, what do y'all think about what I talked about today? Don't be shy. Remember, I still got the chat open. Anybody want to comment while I'm
I think that my score was high in the S category, and I genuinely enjoy helping people.
Yes. She genuinely enjoyed. So you wasn't one of those people that I don't know. I was kind of like, I don't know about that Valerie, man. I think she up to something.
You probably were a little skeptical about me. Probably still is.
No, I've grown, Valerie. I've grown now. I accept you for who you are. You are a supporter. You want to help genuinely.
That's it.
So
that's all I want.
Thank you for sharing. And I would expect no less from the supporter to come in when nobody else talking. Like, well, let me help him out. Let me go ahead and say something because he wants somebody to talk. So everybody got their fit, man. I love it. I love it. Anybody else before we shut it down? I do appreciate y'all. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. The conversation we had earlier, she didn't respond to me. I left her a voicemail and an email. She hasn't responded.
That's okay. I mean, it's it doesn't have to necessarily be responded at immediately, right? I would say just give it to the rest of the day. If she ain't responding back to you by 5, or then call in the morning, like first thing in the morning. Just try to hit it at least once a day. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's see. Okay. All right. So with that being said, look, we are going to next week. We're going to dig into the what do you want, right? So now we've talked about, when are you going to move, right? When are you going to begin? That was the first question we answered. We talked about that. We've talked about the who are you. That was the next question that we've kind of jumped into, getting that answered. And next week we're going to be talking about what do you want. Get to a point to where you're so crystal clear on the stuff that matters that all you do is spend most of your time going after that. And once you get to the point to where you're spending the bulk of your time going after stuff that matters to you, you talk about a new life of fulfillment, man, I can't wait to get you there. It's a feeling that I can't even describe. There's no drug out there that could get you that kind of natural high once you get to the point to where you are spending the bulk of your time on stuff that matters to you. And we're going to talk about that next week and how to get there and how that affects what you do and your level of success or the results that you get out of real estate. So make sure for episode 151, y'all show up. With that being said, leave it real quick with the CE. So if you did what you were supposed to do, you kept your camera on, you stayed logged on the whole time, then you got your hour CE credit. Easy money. Let's go. Free money. So that's great. Again, for those that have not scheduled their coaching sessions, go to the link, get on my calendar. Let's do our coaching so we can dig into this stuff so you can get the kind of business that you want. If you're not a Brooks & Davis agent, click on that link. If something really stood out to you, if you're looking to be a part of the kind of environment that really promotes this type of work, that really wants to position agents to where they can have the level of success, that don't have that blocked in mind state of one size fits all, that you can't come in here and shine and be the you that you want to be, click on that link. Let's schedule an online or in-person consultation so you can learn more. Let's do it now. And then the last, I always do that. I always click on the link. That's what the link look like, y'all. All right, and then last but not least, I highly encourage you to follow us on social media, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, all of them. You know, just pick your flavor, and then let's engage. I'm on all of them. Always submitting great content, and love to engage with you guys there. So let's do it. With that being said, we're about to, let me cue my music. Let me make sure I'm turned all the way up. All the way up. All right. No, we got another one in the book. Create Your New Life. Business Session and Coaching. Thank you for showing up today. We talked more about, we moved up our psychological iceberg for success. We answered that question of, who are you? Reintroduced yourself to you, right? Talked about those mental and emotional things that may be getting in the way of realtors. We also talked about why it's important to constantly never stop learning and always improve. Showed you guys our hotline, right? Our agents never on their own. They got somebody there to answer the hard questions, or easy questions, hard questions, whatever kind of questions. We got great classes coming up. We got our concealed handgun license class coming up this weekend on Saturday. And we have our career night coming out on Thursday. So whether you're a realtor already considering a brokerage, or whether you're just thinking about getting into real estate, you're checking out this video. We're going to be doing them every couple of weeks, so you may miss this one, but be on the lookout a couple of weeks. We're going to be doing them every 2 weeks. So that being said, I'm your host, Michael G. Davis, broker, CEO of Brooks & Davis Real Estate Firm. Looking forward to coaching you into the cosmos. It's time to take off. Y'all have a great weekend. We'll talk to you later. Peace.